Welcome to Later That Same Life, my weekly podcast. I'm Larry Fedoruk, reminding you that if you enjoy this or other episodes, please share with a friend. Thank you.
Season 2, Chapter 9, The COVID Cut.
I think we can agree that Friday, March 13th, 2020 was the start of our COVID life. Our COVID life, not the start of COVID itself. The coronavirus that became known as COVID-19 was first identified near the end of 2019 after a pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China. Origins of the virus itself still hotly contested. I believe that most of us began to hear more and more reports about coronavirus as we got into February of 2020.
The virus is spreading rapidly.
But I think most of us in North America still believed it was a problem somewhere else in the world.
And is urging citizens to stay in their homes and avoid contact.
Oh, sure, people can get on a plane and be anywhere else on the planet within a matter of hours, but still, at the time, we didn't take it that seriously as a threat to our lives.
Authorities are working on a plan to contain the outbreak.
I remember making jokes about coronavirus and Lyme disease. Corona and Lyme. Oh, I'm so funny and original. Except thousands were making the same joke. And other side-splitting rejoinders. By mid-Feb 2020, the World Health Organization officially declared it COVID-19. Corona, the virus, disease, 19. The last two digits of the year that it was discovered, 2019, COVID-19. As I heard that on the news, I thought, well, we'll never call it that. We'll always call it coronavirus. But here we are in a COVID world. Seems we've been here forever. COVID. Although on most of my software, it still comes up on spell check. I scroll through the suggestions box. Did you mean caved? Ovid? Cove? Conan? Yeah, I wish, but no, I don't mean any of those things. Ignore all. Thank you, Spellcheck, for keeping up with the times. I picked Friday, March 13th, 2020 as the official start of COVID life. Part of that is my personal experience. Part of that is it's an ominous-sounding day, Friday the 13th. Ooh. But logically, I think it was that day for most of us. A marker in time. A special day. That's always nice to have. If you go through the COVID timeline of February 2020, most of us had certainly heard about a new virus out there by then, but come on, early in February, there's 3 cases over there, 2 in that country. Canada reported 1 presumptive case in BC. I think the US maybe had 8. How bad could this be? Why are we even keeping track of this and reporting it? I mean, we all knew how colds and flus can spread, but still this? Whatever. By the end of Feb, in a leap year, countries were suddenly reporting dozens and dozens of cases. Not only that, but the number of countries reporting COVID cases had increased to well over 100. The US reported its first COVID death. Hotspots seem to be forming in places like Spain and Italy. Why is that? No one was sure. Pandemic enters our vocabulary. We start to hear daily reports. It was like the stock market or sports scores. COVID is up 12% based on futures. And this final score just in, illness 35, death 2. Well, that was a blowout. Case numbers grew. And grew, and grew, everywhere. Is this just another flu? How serious is this? So many questions. It certainly was all the talk. March 11, 2020, the Wednesday, the World Health Organization changes the status of COVID-19 from public health emergency of international concern, in and of itself an intimidating designation. Public health emergency of international concern is now pandemic. Yeah, I've been hearing that word, pandemic. And here's the hierarchy. First, there's outbreak. Then there's epidemic, which is outbreak over a large population, and then pandemic, an epidemic, but global. It was official. By the time we hit the week of March 9th, 2020, I think most people knew this was something serious. I also think a lot of people in North America still did not feel personally threatened. But then came Wednesday, the pandemic announced by the WHO. And as important as a World Health Organization might be, there is a force out there more powerful than the WHO. They are known as the NBA. That same day, they suspended their professional basketball season. At least one of their players had tested positive. Plus, really, how good an idea is it for tens of thousands of people to be cramped into an arena breathing the same air during a pandemic? A day later, the NHL paused their hockey season. This had the effect of a lot more people taking this a lot more seriously. Because, it's sports. What's their motto? If you can spray on it, you can play on it. And now they're not playing? Oh, this must be something. This COVID. Or COVID, as Ontario's Doug Ford called it. I remember my daughter's birthday was coming up. The previous year, I had taken her to dinner at a very fancy schmancy local restaurant. We had such a nice time, we decided that this was going to be our new father-daughter birthday tradition, this restaurant. We had reservations for Saturday the 14th. By Friday the 13th, we were having reservations about our reservations. That same Friday, my daughter had been sent home from work. Everyone in her busy downtown office was. Go home, work from home, and don't plan to come back to the office in the foreseeable future. Hers was one of the first companies to do this. Work from home, stay home. Within reason, expense whatever you need to work at home. Wow, that was huge. Should we even go out to dinner? Will the restaurant even be open? I called them.
Will you be open tomorrow?
They kind of laughed at me. Yes, of course. Scaredy man. Mr. Paranoia. All right, we'll be there. I know what the World Health Organization said, but after all, this woman on the phone was a hostess, a person in authority. She must know what's going on. We went. It was mostly normal, if you remember that at all. We did notice the servers and bus people were all wearing rubber gloves. Found that kind of unnerving at the time. No one in masks, just the rubber gloves. Next to us, a big table of 12 people, with one guy telling a loud story how he just got back from Italy. But he should probably keep that quiet for now, haha. Oh, bah, Angelo, you're a riot. By Monday, I called my daughter. I don't think we should have gone to dinner. Are you feeling okay? Fluish? Headachy? Anything?
No. You?
I'm not sure. By Tuesday, in Ontario, Doug Ford had declared a state of emergency. It was quiet out there. I'd canceled a couple of coffee chats with friends and canceled my haircut appointment. Well, no big deal. We'll probably just reschedule for a few weeks from now. Maybe even May or June at the latest. Oh, not a problem. Well, I'm not going to go through a play-by-play of the following weeks or months. We were all there. It was the new world, the new reality, the new normal. We learned a whole new language, words and phrases like, new normal, pandemic, COVID, coronavirus, the Rona, the Miley Cyrus, self-isolating, quarantine, lockdown, distancing, masking, PPE, aggressive, hand-washing, second wave, variants. By year's end, the vaccine, the vax, the jab, the poke, the anti-vax. We placed great value on hand sanitizer, anything that said Clorox or Lysol on it, and inexplicably toilet paper. During this period, and if I do say so myself, I was a how-to poster boy. I obeyed all the rules. Didn't go anywhere other than essential travel, groceries, medical appointments. That was it. I learned how to use Zoom. Ordered stuff on Amazon. and anything that came into the house got wiped down. Didn't have anyone over. I was luckier than many. I live alone. I'm used to being alone. I'm fine with being alone. And near the end of 2019, I was unceremoniously, shabbily, and might I add, clumsily, fired by Bell Media. So I was semi-retired, living on a severance package, working on a podcast at home, in my makeshift home studio. I mean, that's pretty fortunate, and I knew it. My son, an essential worker, he was out there every day. I was worried all the time for him, and for others, sometimes for myself, although I'm at home. I had my projects, my podcasts, some writing, some freelance work. Hey, that's a busy schedule. But then I thought, hey, maybe I'll try and grow a beard. I think I can fit that in. It will look good with my now longer hair. Those of you who know me or have seen me on social know that I was keeping it pretty clean cut for the last few years. Not because I had to, I just enjoyed the clean-shaven, short hair look. But I knew, and perhaps only I knew, that inside this mild-mannered former talk show host was radical, change the world, make love not war, turn on, tune in, drop out, counterculture, steal this book, hippie. Where is that picture of me at university with the really long hair? Oh yeah, here it is, yeah, that. Let's do that. Only with a beard this time. And so my hair grew. You may remember there for a while in the summer of 2020, things naively began to open up for a bit. I could have got my hair cut then, but no, I was on a mission. Hair. And I kid about the hippie thing, but for me and those of my generation, hippie wasn't just a label, it was a movement. We're not just going to blindly follow the rules. We're not going to just listen to the man. We were going to revolutionize society. Yeah, so we failed. But that aside for a second, yay, let's get back to that. And in the day, hair was not just a style, it was a statement. If you couldn't afford the clothes, the platform shoes, or the hippie sandals, the love beads, you couldn't play guitar, you could just grow your hair. As a young male, long hair was like a membership card to the club. You were hip now. All the hip bands and poets and freaks had long hair. Get your motor running. They wrote songs about hair, almost cut my hair. But I didn't, and here's why. I wanted to let my freak flag fly. There was an entire musical called Hair.
Why, I'm a hairy guy.
And the sign said, long-haired freaky people need not apply. As a kid, I loved comedians, but some of them started to do long hair jokes. I saw my daughter come in the other day. Turns out it was my son. Oh man, I would cross them off my list. You're not funny. You're not hip. You have short hair. That's what I was going to return to. That's what growing my hair meant. I'm doing this. I'm the boss of me now. Of course, there were a lot of shaggy, unshaven people around. Everyone was posting about their hair, and I knew that I wasn't returning to my actual youth. As a matter of fact, I would be looked upon like an old hippie, someone stuck in the past. But it's COVID. What else is going on? Plus, today, style is all over the place and changes by the minute, right? Long hair, short hair, long dress, short skirt, skinny pants, floral prints, orange is the new black. It doesn't matter, really, does it? Generally speaking, people will try and wear the uniform of their social group. Otherwise, anything goes. So I was just doing this for me. Finally, and at long last, I didn't have anyone I needed to impress. For the first few months, I thought, wow, it's really getting long, but it wasn't. It was just longer than I ever had it for at least a decade. As some of my follically challenged friends would point out, well, at least you kept your hair. Yeah, I had, save for a little bald spot beginning at the back. As it grew, I was rather enjoying it. Because pre-COVID, I was actually thinking I should grow my hair really long just one more time in my life. Just for fun. I never did, but now COVID shutdown gave me the excuse. The beard was a bust. I kind of hated it. Eventually just trimmed it down to a mustache and goatee. I think I can live with that for a while. Before I knew it, it was approaching my shoulders. I ordered some hairbands and elastics. Now, the few times I had to go out in public, there was no way I was going out in a ponytail, or God forbid, a man bun. And hey, if that's your look and you can pull it off, bravo. But not me. The bands and elastics were just for home, just to keep the hair out of my way. Man, it's getting long. My freak flag was flying. At my first vaccine shot, the health worker and I were just making conversation. She asked me if I worked from home and was self-isolating. I pointed at my hair and I said, "Do I look like someone who gets out of the house?" "Good point," she said. I did start to notice a lot of hair everywhere. And then my vacuum cleaner exploded. When I was shopping on Amazon for a new one, I got the one that was guaranteed to clean pet hair. You have a pet, Larry? Yes. It sits on the top of my head and wraps itself around my shoulders. And it sheds. I stayed with it through a second summer, and it was now way past my shoulders. And I don't know what happened. Just sometime in August, it started to be a pain in the ass. It was everywhere. The hairbands and elastics weren't holding properly. It was always in my face. I was making this noise a lot. And it would wake me up in the middle of the night when I turned over. What? Shampooing took forever. Rinsing took even longer. And what does the bottle say? Lather, rinse, repeat. Repeat? Oh no, I'll be here forever. I gotta sit down in the shower. My skin is starting to wrinkle. I thought of cutting my hair myself. Yeah, just scissor it down to some weird short punk cut. How bad could it be? And if that doesn't work, just shave your head. Yeah, that might be cool. A shaved head. Almost did that. Except I thought, what if out of spite it doesn't grow back at all? Finally, I just decided I'll get a haircut. I've been going to the same place for like 20 years. I messaged her, "Are you even open?" "Yes, booking appointments." We booked one for like 3 weeks hence. So then I had 3 weeks of self-doubt. Gee, man, you grew this for 19 months. Now you're going to cut it? You can't. Well, maybe I'll just keep the hair long, but get it trimmed into something else. A mullet. That would be nostalgic. No. You know what? Give me the Rachel. Even on the day that I pulled up to her shop, I thought, no, you're not doing it. I mean, I'll go in, I'll pay her for the time she expected to spend, but no haircut. Of course, if you follow me on social, you know already that I got it done. My original intent when I first decided to book the appointment, a haircut to pre-COVID levels. Loved it. Next morning, after having slept through the night without a loved it even more. Maybe deep down inside I'm not that radical. Maybe this is who I really am. My entire shower and shampoo took under 10 minutes. It was all great. Mind you, Amazon is still sending me ads and deals for other pet-related products. Sorry, Amazon. No longer have the pet. I had to put it down. It was 19. That's 105 to you and me. Other than being masked up, the whole haircut experience felt normal. On the way home, I stopped in at a mall. Hardly anybody was there, and it was distanced and masked, etc. And though it was also something normal, it felt strange, vaguely familiar, but I couldn't quite remember why I used to do this all the time. Go to the mall. I know people talk about this often. The moments of normalcy. Having friends over for a visit. Going out for lunch. Sending a child back to school. I feel that, and I know what they mean. But I think that for me, well, I'm in no hurry for any of it. I'll be the last guy at the bar, the patio, the diner. Don't much feel like shopping or browsing. I seem happier far from the madding crowd. I'm probably not going for a haircut every month like I used to, but I'm not going to grow it for 19 months again either. When I was at university in those times, I wanted the freedom to grow my hair long. And now, funnily enough, I was just happy for the freedom to get a haircut.
Later That Same Life is written, voiced, and produced by Larry Fedoruk. LarryFedoruk37 at gmail.com.